Geez, are we getting close? Yeah, we're getting close.
I'd like to convene the City Council meeting for April 4th. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the roll.
Belzak.
Here.
Gustafson.
Here.
Shower.
Here.
Vaughn.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
Kenny.
Here.
Clistic.
Here.
7 present.
We have a quorum. It takes us to questions and comments of announcements of a general nature. This is on our agenda for an individual who might want to speak to something that is not on the agenda. Somebody might want to share something. So we've inserted this on our agenda. Does anyone have anything other than an item on our agenda that they want to address tonight? Okay. It takes us to approval of minutes, and I'm going to ask for one motion for all 3 sets of minutes. We have the Administrative Finance Committee meeting of the whole for February 23rd, the Administrative Finance Committee meeting of the whole for March 1st, and the City Council meeting for March 21st, 2022. Motion to approve. Alderwoman Sullivan, second by Alderman Kenny. Any questions or comments? If none, the roll.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Clistic.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
7 ayes.
The minutes have been approved. That takes us to receiving of communications. Do we have any communications from the Alderman? Alderman Kenny.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 2 pieces of communication. I have one from Mr. Jack Quinert on Summit Road regarding the item on our agenda tonight for the municipal services option 1. He felt that spending the money on option 2 was not a good idea. He was preferring option 1. And then I also have a communication from a Mr. Michael Muehlner, who lives in unincorporated Downers Grove Township, regarding a Farmingdale sign that he'd like the city of Darien to help. That's not in our jurisdiction, and I did have that conversation with him.
Thank you. Anyone else? Eric?
Yeah, I have just a couple items. The first is I had some emails regarding issues with LRS carts. I passed those on to Brian, and the team took care of those right away, so that's very much appreciated. The other one is I did have a communication with a resident in Green Valley where I performed a site visit with reps from NICOR, the resident Dan Gombeck, to go over. NICOR had done some work on their property, cutting some trees down, and there's some minor maintenance work that needs to be done. So NICOR was out there, and they committed to getting that work done in the very near term. So I appreciate Dan coming out with his time and stuff to expedite the process.
Thank you.
NICOR is very good about it.
Alderman Clistic?
Thank you, Mayor. I received communication from Megan Hofbauer from the Patio Homes about noise cue bars. Just wanted to mention that it was quiet for a while, but it came up as an issue. I told her just contact police if it's loud again.
Okay. Anyone else? If no one else, then that takes us to our mayor's report. First item under our mayor's report is the recognition of the Women's Club Art Program. And while this is on our agenda tonight, and I do congratulate the Women's Club for all their efforts for their art program, it's really here as a pretense for getting someone here tonight. So I'm going to jump to the Heart of Darien Award. When the pandemic threatened the Darien Women's Club's art fair, 46-year tradition, this individual was determined to provide a healing experience for artists, essential workers, and the community. The We Heart Our Heroes project connected Darien Women's Club members with Darien residents and provided an opportunity to thank and recognize our community heroes. 8 3 feet by 6 feet composites with over 500 artful messages of gratitude were used to construct large and meaningful pieces of art. And if you see our back wall, one of them's hanging there from our back wall. We also have one upstairs in our lobby. The artwork quilts have been displayed at the 9/11 Remembrance Day Memorial, as well as in our Darien City Hall, the Indian Prairie Library, schools, and various other locations. As a permanent gift to the city of Darien, they have also become part of the Darien Historical Society's pandemic archives. Our nominee envisioned an art experience which recognized first responders while giving our residents an opportunity to express gratitude through creative art expression. Her dedication to keeping the Darien Women's Club art tradition alive while adapting the COVID restrictions showed strong determination and a generous and caring spirit for the entire Darien community. In conclusion, she successfully directed the We Heart Our Heroes project during the pandemic and recently chaired an outstanding in-person Darien Women's Club art fair. She has shown a strong commitment to the arts in Darien with her hard work, creativity, and dedication. By her efforts, she has shared part of her heart with our Darien community, and is with great pride that we honor Ann Christensen with this Heart of Darien Award.
Surprise! Surprise!
Can I show you what this looks like?
I'm a photographer too. It's another one of my jobs.
This says Darien, Illinois, Heart of Darien, Anne Marie Christensen, We Heart Our Heroes Program, April 4th, 2022. I'll have to get Bill in.
Yeah.
Just say okay. Yeah. You want to borrow my jacket?
That's what I did a lot.
Bill, you want to come here? And then I'm going to ask all the women's club ladies to come up if you guys are good. Come on, guys. Ladies. Okay, ladies, head on up. I know you got some. Nice to see everybody. Hello, ladies. Come on up, ladies. Good to see you guys. You might as well get your blue shirts on. Hey, good to see you. Thank you. Good to see you. Hey there, lady. How are you? Hey, neighbor. Good to see you. Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
How are you?
Well,
Hey, how are you?
get in there, please.
Good.
Cherry. Come on, sit up there. Come on. Okay. Okay. Okay.
They're taller than us right now.
That's a good idea.
It's okay. I'm the photographer. 1, 2, 3.
Hold on, Mary. Hold on. Hold on. You got one more running in.
Jerry, come on. Come on, Jerry.
Tallest one in front.
Should I do a selfie so that I'm in it? 1, 2, 3.
Bigger council chambers for
1,
pictures.
2, 3. Cheese. Awesome. I'll send it to you guys. Okay? Congratulations.
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, City. Joe. Friends, you realize that this was really more of a way of keeping myself busy during the pandemic and out of my kids' hair, out of my husband's hair. But it was really important that we do something to uphold our tradition, because it's always been really important to me, and I know that a lot of people have stepped up in the past when we couldn't find a chair, or if we just, became a little weak of spirit. And I think the show this year and the art fair was really kind of indicative of how important it is to everybody else in the community. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for a couple other things that might be coming our way. And I know I won't be chairing it next year, but I definitely still will be very involved. Again, thank you very much.
You know, and I called Bill up, and I said, we have to get her here. And I had to come up with something that I thought, when you saw your fellow women's club members here, you would understand. And so we came up with this idea of we're going to honor the women's club for their art program. And you guys really do have a fantastic art program, so I don't want to diminish that. But it was really our way of getting you here tonight. I had called him and I said, Bill, I have something very important coming up in 2 weeks. I will call you and let you know, because I hadn't received the nomination, but I knew I was going to get the nomination. And so give him a lot of credit for getting you here tonight. And thank you to the Women's Club for all you do. Woo! Not just with your art program, but with all your other programs. Thank you. All right. Now we have the mass exodus. All right. Tonight we have another commendation, and I'm going to let the Chief Thomas do this. This is for Brian and Christina Payne. Is Brian here tonight? Brian? Why don't you come forward, Brian? And I'm going to let the chief make that presentation.
That's awesome.
Christina couldn't be with us tonight?
She is probably on her way.
Okay.
But yeah, she had something that she couldn't get out of.
Should we wait a little bit, Joe? So if maybe,
Do we want, we can wait.
15 minutes, she'll probably be here.
Okay, why don't we do that, Chief? And then what we'll do is we'll have Katie and we'll have George present. All right, with us tonight, we have Katie Murray, who is the Municipal Services Manager for LRS, and George Strom, who is the VP of Municipal Services. And as you know, over the last couple of weeks, we've been making the transition from waste management to LRS. 5-6 months ago, when we started this process, we felt really positive about this company. We felt that what they were going to be able to do for us was present excellent service for our residents. 5 months later, I don't feel any different than I did then, even though we've had a couple faux pas over the last couple of weeks. But I really think that the company's excellent, the customer service is excellent, and I think that the fact that we've had such a good relationship with the two of you really speaks to the quality of LRS. So I'll turn the microphone over to you, and I'll let you make your little talk.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for your time tonight. And I just want to say first and foremost, you know, I've rolled out quite a few municipalities and new services, and I've really grown to appreciate not only each of you, but also the Darien residents are just awesome, because, you know, transitions like this, they happen every, 15 to 30 years, and it's uncomfortable. I mean, especially for some residents that may have disabilities or, just like routine. And so we're disrupting your routine temporarily to exchange, close to 20,000 carts, as the mayor pointed out. And overall, it's gone very well. We're very, very happy with, it's not been perfect, of course, and I'll address that, but we've really had a lot of success with the result of how many residents actually responded, which was amazing. In large, that's because of the city and LRS, and together we did a lot of communications. We posted the videos, sent out mailers, and the city has been amazing at just also doing the different connection or direct connect and things like that. So I just want to say thank you to the city staff, outstanding staff. It's incredible when you're switching out this many carts. You've got choices on top of it. We're custom doing things, the stickers and everything else. So very, very pleased with the city. So our supervisors, our customer service, they're all saying how well received this program has been. I don't know if you're hearing the same thing. Of course, there's always going to be some people that it won't be perfect for, but overall, I mean, I've heard from every resident that I've spoken to at the end of our conversation, they're very happy with the program in general. So we were very fortunate as well to pick up some of the former advanced disposal waste management drivers. And so this was the first as well. Not that we were able to get those drivers, but the reason was because they love the city of Darien. And so I thought that was pretty amazing as well. So we did have a pain point, and we're still kind of getting through the end of that, which really it was just a few hundred carts. Unfortunately, it's the senior size carts. So we had a hiccup with the delay in the delivery, in large because we ordered a special custom base for the wheels because I did not want them tipping over. And that was an issue we've had in the past with some other carts that we've ordered. So the parts were delayed essentially, and that's what the delay has been. So we do have some seniors that, waited a little longer, maybe a few more that are still waiting, and we hope to finish those up pretty quick. We knocked out quite a bit today as well. So from here, we did offer in response to that hiccup, we are going to cover both electronic waste events. So the city does not have to cover that cost. So that would be covered by LRS. So I did want to mention just a few things. We've now gotten through the first transition phase, or the second, I'll call it. We're heading into the final stage. So this is with the exchanges. People will call and submit requests for exchanges. So please understand, we don't have a stock or an inventory of, close to, it could be 1,500 to 4,000 carts. So those we place an order for. So that order will come in and we'll start delivering as soon as they do. In the meantime, and this is where it gets a little uncomfortable for some residents, we ask you to leave the carts out at the curb. That is super important. And that's because, we're going to order as the carts come in, or we're going to deliver as soon as the carts come in, and then we'll begin, hopefully we'll be done after that. So I did want to report too, on Friday, we did not have one missed pickup phone call, which was outstanding. It's the first that I've ever had that. In large, it's probably because we were able to pick up some of these awesome drivers. But we also sent out a driver on Saturday just to make sure there were no missed pickups. So I just want to extend, that our drivers are working very hard to make sure that this goes extremely well for you. So another reminder for the city residents, those 18-gallon bins, they're welcome to put them out. So I just want to say that to you guys in case you speak to them as well. We will recycle those. I had a question come up, can I stack them? Because a lot of people have more than one. Just stack them, put a note on it to say, please take entire bin, and we'll take them and recycle them. So, and then just another reminder, I want to, because this will come up as well, there was a billing situation with the previous service provider. Apparently they had billed for an additional quarter, so I just want to encourage residents, if they still have any questions regarding that, to contact Waste Management. I happen to have the number memorized. It is 800-796-9696, so they can call that number. We won't be sending out our bills probably until the end of May, so that's going to be a little different as well. That's the first bill, and then it'll seem like they're getting billed right away. But the reason we do that is because we get so many requests for exchanges, and we do have quite a bit, even though, we had 70% of residents submit requests. We still have 30% that, may have received a 95-gallon cart, and, we're going to be exchanging those, and then the bill would reflect that as well. So in short, it's not been perfect, but overall, I think that it's gone very well. And I wanted to thank you for your communications as well. I know, as you mentioned, Alderman Gustafson, we did have that issue, and I thank you for allowing that. And also Alderman Sullivan, I saw an email from you as well. But again, we'll continue to stay really close and in contact with everything, and you'll have my full attention, and also my municipal coordinator and George. And I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but.
Sure. Well, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, or 9 months ago, we were in here trying to convince the city to give us an opportunity, to give us a chance, and you did, and we are grateful, and we do not want to disappoint you. And I think I was out the last two collection days myself, driving around, checking the town out, and I could tell you, I spent a lot of time in the community before, deciding how we were going to competitively bid this municipality. And it is so much nicer looking with the carts and not having the little tubs with the, as we've talked about, the litter and the debris kind of going all over the place. Seeing it uniform really makes your collection day look so much kind of neat, if you will. And I know that we do have some people that are, like, oh, I got the wrong size, but 70% participation rate when they're choosing their cart is actually unheard of. And a lot of it I would put to the credit of, the city, the video that was put out there was fantastic. And also I want to give some credit to Katie. I mean, she's done a fantastic job on our side, I think, to handle a lot of the hot topic issues, the quick response, making sure that you get the right service that you're looking for. We consider you a very key municipality that we have a lot of, hopes for. And I just want to say the crew that I've seen picking up, the two from the previous hauler, they were very excited to stay on board. They had brand new equipment that they were excited about. Another one was from Roy Strom before. I've known him for the past 10 years. Probably the best swing driver, meaning he's jumped on every single different route there is and has done a fantastic job. And he said, finally, I've got my own town. I'll be in here every single day. I don't have to go from each truck to each truck. I'm so excited. And then the last guy's been with LRS for, significant years. So I came back, I called Katie right after I left. I said, man, they got the best crew I think I could ask for, anybody could ask for. So I just want to say thank you. I asked for a little patience for some residents that may experience a slight discomfort, but in all reality, when you look at the long road ahead, it's giving you great uniform look on your day of collection. Is a beautiful set out. You see the nice carts and the nice new trucks, and you have a great crew. So for some slight discomfort for a week or two, realistically, I would take that any day of the week if I could get, 5, 10, 15, 20 years of a great relationship. So I just want to personally thank you, thank Katie, and thank your residents for their patience.
Brian?
Mayor, one question. Either one of you. We are still seeing some waste management totes left out, and we do have a contact that, we if we get calls in, we tell them. But at some point, they're just going to be there. So those should be a bulk. If a resident wants to get rid of the, the taller ones, and waste has not picked them up, that would be a bulk item.
If Waste Management is not willing to come and,
Yeah.
yes, then I would say they could put it out and we will recycle it.
Yes, okay, thanks.
And we would want it empty. So if you
Yes,
want us to
correct.
recycle it, it needs to be empty. If you put garbage in it, and, then it would be unfortunately thrown away. But it does happen, so.
Okay,
But
thank
that's
you.
fine. Yeah, thank you for asking that. Yes.
I just had a couple
Sure.
quick questions. The first is, and this is ones I've been getting from the residents, what happens if you fill up the garbage bin? What can you do at that point? Can you put something outside
Yes,
the bin?
yes. So there's a couple things. I know some residents still have their own containers, so certainly use your own container if you have it.
Okay.
If you just have a loose bag outside, and this is something we spoke about before we even, finalized we were still negotiating, yes, just put the extra bag out.
Okay.
Yes.
And in respect to lawn waste, if people don't have the specified cart, can they just put out their own garbage can?
They
with the
can,
lawn
and I
waste
do, and I.
or a bag?
Yes, and I apologize because this was my fail. I did not include this on the webpage, and I'm getting it added. So I think it's 32 or 33 gallons, somewhere in there. Then and there are stickers that the city has that we've provided, and we'll continue to replenish those. It just says yard waste only, and you can use your own container, and that's absolutely fine.
And that one email I got from the lady who was still waiting for her cart.
Okay.
Was coming back to me
Yes.
constantly.
Okay.
And she came back at the end, she goes, I was thinking about it, and everything that's going on in the Ukraine, I can wait a couple days for my cart.
Oh.
I thought that was sweet.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome.
If I could share a story, on Friday, Katie stopped by the office. And we had a woman who had a 32-gallon container. And as most of you know, when you got them, the lids didn't close all the way right away. And this woman, I guess, was becoming a little impatient. The lid wasn't quite closing. And she continued to call to let us know that. And Katie came here to City Hall. She picked up a 32-gallon container here, took it to the lady's house, dropped it off at the lady's house, and took the one where the lid wouldn't close. So, she went out on her own to do that, to remedy the situation. And to me, I just find that really impressive that you guys would reach out like that and extend yourself to do stuff like that. So thank you very much for that.
And one last thing, I really hope now, in this, that, since we're a couple things, we're getting away from hopefully having a lot of the recycle stuff blow around all over. Plus, though, we also now have people that used to use stickers before or didn't use stickers throw their garbage along Manning Road constantly. And also going over to the AmVets at Walmart and taking big, large white bags of lawn clippings and dumping them at the AmVets.
Yeah.
Okay, so your program, I think now, there's not going to be the incentive for them to do that anymore because they're going to be paying that fee, so the miles to use the service rather than dumping all this stuff throughout the city. So I'm really hoping things get cleaned up because I mentioned to Dan Gombeck, he's looking at now, some of the wetlands in Darien right now are a disaster. There is mess all through all of them. So I'm hoping that this is going to also improve that too as we go forward.
I'm very confident that it will. I mean, the structure of the old program, while it was good at the time, it did eventually promote people to take advantage.
Yeah,
and that is
absolutely.
basically what you're saying and what happened. I've had a number of people tell me, I used to just take my garbage to work. I mean,
Yep.
it's a very
Lot
common,
of 'em.
I've heard it over and over again. And well, now you don't have to. You can just put it out. And
Or
we'll
they
pick
dump
it
it
up.
on Manning Road.
Or they don't.
Which is really, I'm telling you, it gets bad, as Dan knows. His team goes down there, drives down there and stop constantly picking up all the garbage.
I think our next option is going to be to provide a can through LRS on a scheduled day
On
and just
Manning,
put it on
yeah.
Manning
I
Road.
think we
And then
should.
we're going to put a note on there, please deposit.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. So
Yeah.
Katie, I didn't tell you that yet, but that's my upcoming plan.
All right, got it.
We may have to do that.
Yeah, and I think too, and I know a lot of my neighbors have commented how excited they are about the covered recycling cans. I mean, I've had a recycling cart for a long time, but I'm a walker with my dog, so I walk through a lot of my ward, and I also border 55 there, and on a windy day, it's the debris is unbelievable. And I have a wetlands across the street from me, and no one's fly dumping in it. It's strictly people's garbage out of their cans that don't have covers or their recycle bins that just go airborne. And so I'm hopeful now that there'll be so much more, less litter because of the quality of the cans and everything being covered. So.
Well, and just another, to piggyback on that, something that just kind of came to mind is, if you think about it, the garbage trucks aren't going to be in your town, in the city as much now. So, because we're just, we've got the automated function. So, where before they were having to get out, go grab those recycle bin, they're dumping it, things are flying out, and those days are over. So, yes. Yes.
What I like is no more 20 after 6 in the morning on Wednesday mornings going to Jewel because I don't have any stickers.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then
Go to my neighbor's door and it's like, you got an extra sticker?
And I never brought the garbage out the night before because it was blown on the block.
Yeah.
Now I can bring the garbage out the night before and don't even worry about it.
Yep.
And one last thing really quickly was, we thought it would be really easy to find a staging yard for all these carts close to Darien or in Darien. And it ended up becoming a very challenge, to say the least. We had a lot of open real estate, strip malls and all that stuff that we thought we would easily get a spot. And came down to almost like the day before, or a couple days before the carts were going to be delivered. And we found Marquette Manor Baptist Church. I connected with Susie Sherman, the business manager there. And, we said, hey, we're willing to pay rent, whatever it takes. We really are desperate. And she says, well, we're not in Darien. And I was like, oh, well, maybe be a good neighbor. She goes, that's what we want to be. We want to be a good neighbor to the community. And so we're willing to donate this space to you. We actually needed more space than they really kind of wanted to give, I believe. And I just wanted to be on record how grateful we are to them, being a good neighbor, demonstrating being a good steward. And without their assistance, honestly, this would not have come close, because we would have been pulling these probably from Forest View or Maywood, and it would have made it so much more challenging for us. So I just want to say thank you so much to them, a good neighbor to your city, and a great church to help out.
I'm gonna piggyback on it, because last year, because of the pandemic, when the Rotary Club of Downers Grove was holding Grow Fest, they had to move the dates, and the date was always, they would take the trucks and put them at the high schools. Well, because it was so late, the schools were open, they couldn't do it. Marquette Manor Church allowed them to put their trucks for Grow Fest in their lot. So that's not the first time I've heard of that. They're a great
for them.
neighbor.
Very, very, very gracious.
Brian?
Just two things. As we started down this seems now a quick journey, but we did talk about, how are we going to let residents know? And that's very challenging. I think, we both really worked hard at that. And when I was out on Friday, it was interesting to see, I saw a few houses that have mattresses out, and they covered them in plastic. That's a minutia of the pickup that residents are definitely reading the material or watching the videos. I was really impressed to see that. I don't know that that's something I think relatively new, but that was an indication that residents, we were able to reach them. That's really good. And the last item again is thanks for the recycling event. The city had budgeted about $19,200 for that event. And thanks again for picking that up. But maybe you could just talk for a minute about that, Katie, because I know a brochure will be out. And if you have anything to add now while we're on.
Thank you. So in the next couple of weeks, residents will receive a postcard, and it will have information how to register for the e-waste event. It's pretty simple. You just go on our website, lrsrecycles.com/Darien, and click on the e-waste link, and you'll be able to select a certain amount of items that you want to place out. It's up to 7 items, and these are materials that you can't put out in your garbage. And the week of May 2nd, we will be picking that up on the service day. So that's the first event, and I don't know that we have the second one scheduled yet. Do we? I can't.
I think it's
September. It is September. Sorry,
September.
thank you. I've got one. That's pathetic. Sorry. But yes, then the second one will be in September. It'll be exactly the same. So if you missed the first one, we still have the second one. If you've got a lot of e-waste, then there you go.
We'll put all that information out again like we did.
In Direct
once
Connect
residents have
and,
it.
yes.
Do you do anything special with the hard drives and the computers? That's
We
the
do.
question I'm
We-
getting. Do
yes.
they get destroyed?
Yes, we do use eWorks out of Elk Grove Village, and if you look up eWorks, it is one of the few, if not the only, in Northern Illinois that has a very secure program that
Right.
they operate under. It's called R2, and it is a very specific data destruction security sort of certification that's required. No, it's definitely guaranteed that it'll be wiped.
Yeah, I think that's important. for residents
It's very
to realize
important.
that.
Residents
That's
are
a great
often
selling
concerned.
point. That's a great selling point to have that.
Anything else for Katie or George? Well, we're going to continue down this path for a while, and again, my thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
I could not have imagined 5 months ago that we'd be here today. It seemed like we had a lot of meetings, put out a lot of information, and you know what? It was all worthwhile. It really
Thank you
was.
so much.
Because I
Really.
think we really have a quality company, and I think our residents, as I said in my newsletter last week, no change comes about without some disruptions. I said, but eventually people are going to see why we chose this path, and why we chose LRS, and I think that's going to be happening pretty soon. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very
job.
much.
Okay, Chief, all yours.
Awesome.
Tonight we have Brian and Christina Payne with us. Special Citizens Commendation.
Yes. On February 5th at about 6 o'clock, police were dispatched to a accident with injuries, and the vehicles were on fire. And luckily, Brian Payne had a fire extinguisher that his wife told him to go get. He honored that request, as we all do, and promptly went out and put out the fire because there was a couple people that were trapped in the car. Christina, during all that, saw the people in distress and found a coat and to keep them warm, and rendered aid. So in the police department, we have commendations and letters of appreciation and different awards for life-saving and valor and different types of things. And we also have a citizen award. So today I'd like to issue those 2 citizen awards.
Can't leave without a picture. Come on.
My wife doesn't want to change the seat.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
We should put Mary's seat over there.
Yeah, right?
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Fire, right? It's like putting on a tractor fire.
Great job.
No problem.
Great job. This is the last time tonight.
No sweat, Joe, no sweat.
Okay. Just one last thing underneath the mayor's report. On the 23rd and 24th of March, Brian and I went down to Springfield for 2 days of lobbying with the state legislature. I had several meetings. One, I led a group of mayors in a meeting with Representative Jim Durkin, and then I led a group of mayors in a group setting with Representative Welch, who is the Speaker of the House. Our purpose was to go down there and speak to restoring the local government distributive fund from 6% to 8%. And as most of you know, we received 10% of that every year up until 2011. Back in 1969, the state, the governor made an agreement with local municipalities that when they instituted the state income tax, that the municipalities would receive 10% of that per capita. And that remained that way up to 2011. In 2011, that changed and it was reduced. And it currently sits at 6.6%. Now, to give you an idea of what that means to Darien, Darien currently receives $2.5 million in local government distributive funds. If we push that up to 8%, Darien would receive an additional $570,000 a year. If they went back to the 10%, we'd be a little over $1 million. If we had stayed at 10%, by not staying at 10%, we lost over $10 million in funds over the last 10 years. So it's been a concerted effort. Those of you who are aware, I participated in an editorial with the editorial board of the Chicago Sun-Times. I did one with the Daily Herald. And as vice president of DuPage Mayors and Managers, I was selected to meet with various state legislators down in Springfield. I also had an opportunity to meet with the governor. We had a 40-minute meeting with Governor Pritzker. There were about 12 of us in his private conference room. And when it came around for me to speak, it happened to be my birthday that day. And I looked at him and I thanked him for the opportunity for us to talk and meet with him. And then I looked at him and I said, today's my birthday, Mr. Governor, and my wish is that you restore LGDF to 8%. And he looked at me and he smiled. He goes, just for Darien, Joe? And I said, no, for the state. And he says, well, happy birthday anyway. We'll know this Friday whether or not our efforts had any significant impact, although I've been reading material put out by our lobbyist. And I have to say that DuPage Mayors and Managers has one of the best lobbyists. And Brian was part of this. I think he'll substantiate that. Matt O'Shea was able to bring legislators to us to meet and talk to throughout the 2-day period. But whether or not we get anything back from the state this year is another question. The money's there. It's a great year to ask for the money. And my hope is we get something from the state. If we don't, we're going to start this whole effort up again next year until we get 10%. And that's money that is our taxpayers' money. That is Darien residents' money. So, but unfortunately, people have never heard of LGDF. And we've done everything we can to convince them to call their state legislators. And the bill that's before the state has 78 representatives, members of the House of Representatives, and over 40 senators supporting the bill. And the problem is that bill will not come up for a vote. If it came up for a vote, it would be passed unanimously, but it's not going to come up for a vote. So we have to hope that in the budget-making process that we get something from that. But I wanted to fill you in a little bit on what took place. Mr. Vanna did some lobbying on his own. We met with members of DCEO and IDOT, and we talked about the sound wall, and we talked about the rubbish along I-55 and the damage to the fences. We actually met with the director of IDOT, who gave Brian his card and told him if you have any problems with that, give him a call and he'll get it cleaned up. He'll assign a crew to do that. But it was a very fruitful 2 days. I was really glad that my city administrator was able to join me. We had a good time, but we were busy from the moment we got there to the moment we got on the bus and we came home. But I wanted to let all of you know that it was a worthwhile 2 days. And in the future, I'd like to see several of you go. Naperville not only had didn't have their mayor there, but I think they had 4 or 5 of their council members who attended. So in the future, I'd like to have some of you go. I think you really would enjoy it. But that's my report on that. And with that, we'll go to City Clerk's report. Joanne?
No report this evening.
City Administrator's report?
No report, Mayor. Thank you.
Department head information and questions. Anything for Dan Gombeck or Chief Thomas? Anything you gentlemen would like to offer? Oh, Eric, go ahead.
And I mentioned this before, and Dan, I know we're taking a look at cleaning up the wetlands. And this is probably the worst I've seen it now. My wife and I we walk by there all the time on the way to Home Depot with our dog and stuff. And it's just at the end of Abbey Lane, the cul-de-sac there, and then once you get into on the Walmart area.
And it's two
Especially
separate.
behind the AMVETs. I don't know if stuff's coming from them or not, but it's just a disaster in there.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's been some management changes with their maintenance company over the last 3 months. So we've had a couple challenges, if you want to say, with the detention facility itself, which began to overflow. So we got that finally rectified. So it's a little bit of a learning curve. I guess some of the management and their maintenance people are not familiar with the grounds in totality, in which they believe it was all Darien. So we're working with them, first of all. Abbey Woods, I know, is they have a private homeowners association.
Right.
So, we'll give them a little bit of benefit of doubt with spring and all the high winds that we've had in recent, probably 2 months. So we're getting after them as well. It's done a courtesy letter out to make sure that the homeowners association is aware of, hey, let's police the grounds a little more, and then we'll take.
I mean, it's pretty wet right now. I understand that, so it may take a little bit of time for it to dry up a little bit for people to get in there.
Yes.
Actually clean it up. So, but yeah, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Mary?
Just to piggyback, because I have some of those special service areas over in my ward. In fact, one is directly across the street from my home. And we do, like ourselves, just do some tidying up. But I do think there'd be an advantage to somebody like going in and cleaning it. And I also think it's on the hopper for a controlled burn. So you wouldn't, be nice to have the garbage out of there before they do that. Whose responsibility would that be? Because we don't have a homeowners association.
Correct. While you don't have a homeowners association, there's a special service agreement, or special service agreement, which allows the city of Darien to basically oversee and control, have the controlled burns through contract. I think currently we have a 5-year contract in place for the burns. There is no specific line item for garbage. I know in the past that residents have taken it upon themselves to more or less police the area. I do know that when they schedule a burn, they're cognizant of the garbage and do not burn garbage that I'm aware of. So they do, I'll call a little bit of a special pickup. If this is something that you'd like us to look at, whether it be on, we could have a separate sidebar conversation in regards to a timing, whether it's once a month, once a quarter, whatever the case is. but let's have a conversation in regards to that and see what the level of detail is, and we can go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay. That takes us to the Treasury Report, warrant number 21, 22, 23. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this evening I'm requesting council's approval of warrant number 21, 22, 23, so symmetrical, from the listed funds in the amount of $255,435.27, as well as payroll for the period ended March 24th in the amount of $258,496.70, for a total to be approved of $513,931.97.
Motion to approve. Alderman Shower, second by Alderman Kenny. Questions or comments for the treasurer? If none, the roll.
Shower.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Clistic.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
7 ayes.
The warrant's been approved. Takes us to standing committee reports. Do any of the aldermen have information for us tonight? Alderwoman Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. The Economic Development Committee will meet this Thursday, April 7th at 7 p.m. in council chambers. And the Administrative Finance Committee will have its next meeting on Monday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. in the conference room upstairs at City Hall.
Thank you. Alderman Belzak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next Municipal Services Committee meeting will be on April the 25th, Monday at 6 p.m. in council chambers.
Thank you. Alderman
Excuse
Kenny.
me. Alderman Belzak, Mr. Mayor, we're going to probably be updating the municipal services to the 18th. Okay, we just need to confirm a couple agenda items to make sure that all elected
So we need
officials.
to get them on the 18th agenda?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So again, this was just information that just came back recently. I haven't not had a chance to discuss them with the elected officials on that committee, so that'll be forthcoming, and we'll let the city clerk know as well in regards to the schedule upon confirmation. Thank you.
Chief, do you anticipate having agenda items for the 18th?
No.
So we're going to probably
Want that one? 6 o'clock, 6:15 on Friday.
No, originally we were pushing.
Put it
back
in mind.
because of that copier, but it's on tonight.
Okay, correct.
All right. So we're going to probably cancel the police committee meeting on the 18th so we can have the municipal services meeting at 6 o'clock on that day. Okay?
6 o'clock, Tom. I mean, Joe. Yeah.
And the Darien, the Darien Community Action Team will be meeting this Saturday, April 9th.
Better voice.
From 10 to 12 at the Indian Prairie Public Library. Takes us to questions and comments, agenda related. We don't have anyone in the audience except for, I think, Mr. Giuliani, unless he has a question he wants to ask. He doesn't have one, so we'll move on to old business. There being no old business, we go to our consent agenda. Item A, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Darien and Go Painters Incorporated for the 2022 fire hydrant painting Phase 2 at a unit cost of $96,000 for an amount not to exceed $96, excuse me, for an amount not to exceed $69,600. Item B, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Norwalk Tank Company for storm sewer concrete structures, iron sewer grates, concrete adjusting rings at the proposed unit prices for various public works projects for a period of May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2023. Item C, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept a proposal from Christopher B. Burke Engineering Limited for the professional design services related to the surveying and preparation of plans and bid documents for the neighborhood sidewalks for the east side of Clarendon Hills Road from 67th Street to Plainfield Road at a cost not to exceed $50,765. And item D, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept a proposal from Christopher B. Burke for professional design services related to the surveying, engineering, and bid documents for the neighborhood sidewalk for the south side of 79th Street from Cass Avenue, Stratford Place, at a cost not to exceed $27,005. Motion to approve. Alderman Belzak, seconded by Alderman Vaughn. And the roll.
Belzak.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Clistic.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
7 ayes.
The consent agenda has been approved. Just for the viewing audience, we've changed the order of our new business, and I'll be taking those in the new order. Item A, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of one Kyocera CS 504J copier printer from Alternative Business Suppliers Incorporated to replace current equipment in use by the Police Department using Department of Justice award money in an amount not to exceed $6,500. Motion to approve. Alderman Kenny, second by Alderman Shower. Any discussion or comments? If none, the roll.
Kenny.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Clistic.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
7 ayes.
The item's been approved. Item B, consideration of a motion to approve option 1 for the Municipal Services Facility at 1041 South Frontage Road. Option 1 is to maintain the current facility and grounds with no expansion. Motion to approve. Alderwoman Sullivan, seconded by Alderman Belzak. Any discussion? Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, let me be perfectly clear that, I do not want to increase taxes to pay for a new municipal services building. But I think there are potential ways of going about and getting a new building. Now, a big part of that, and I keep pushing and hoping, is that we get a marijuana store in Darien. Okay, either we're going to get one, Downers Grove or Woodridge. Only one of those 3 cities will get one. And frankly, if it's in Downers Grove or Woodridge, it's really in Darien. So let's not fool ourselves. Let's at least get the revenue for it, because that revenue could be substantial. That could go a long way to paying for a new municipal services building. That, and potentially maybe with some of this LGDF funds, we could get away with. That's why I don't want to do a lot of work on the existing building. And we should know by the end of this year if we're going to get a marijuana store or not. If we don't get one by the end of this year, we're not going to get one. So if we can delay and doing these improvements and stuff, I'd rather see that so we can know what our viable options are going down the road.
Anyone else? The roll?
Sullivan.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Clistic.
Nay.
Gustafson.
No.
Kenny.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
5 ayes and 2 nay.
The item's been approved. Item C, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Standard Park for drain troughs for the bay areas of the Municipal Service Building at 1041 South Frontage Road in an amount not to exceed $17,540. Motion to approve. Alderman Belzak, seconded by Alderman Shower. And discussion. If none, the roll.
Belzak.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Gustafson.
No.
Clistic.
Nay.
Kenny.
Aye.
5 ayes and 2 nay.
Item's been approved. Item D, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Fortis Concrete for the purchase and installation of the concrete floor for the trench drains in an amount not to exceed $9,500. Motion to approve. Alderwoman Sullivan, seconded by Alderman Belzak. And again, any questions or comments? If none, the roll.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Clistic.
Nay.
Kenny.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Gustafson.
No.
Vaughn.
Aye.
5 ayes and 2 nay.
The item's been approved. And finally, it takes us to our last item, item E, consideration of a motion to approve an ordinance approving the 2022-2023 budget as amended. Motion to approve. Alderwoman Sullivan, seconded by Alderman Belzak. Questions or comments?
Mayor, you might want to mention what why we're amending those two items?
Yes, the reason that we use the phrase "as amended," when we voted for the several items here on the new business agenda, we were actually adding money to the capital projects for those items that we approved. So that has to be included within the budget, so we have to amend the budget as needed. Any other, and I just want to say thank you to city staff for the hard work on the budget. I want to thank the council for your diligence and the time you spent, Alderwoman Sullivan for her leadership of the audit and admin and finance committee. We finished our budget process in 2 items, which speaks to the specificity which we use in creating the budget, and many thanks to Mr. Vanna, our city administrator, and to Lisa Clem, who work tirelessly to prepare the documents for us. And as to our department chairs as well, Chief Thomas and Mr. Gombeck, in their preparation of their materials, all that adds to the process that we concluded. And we did it in what I consider a timely fashion, and we have what I believe is an outstanding budget, including the sidewalks along 69th Street, the sidewalks along Clarendon Hills Road from 67th to Plainfield, the light at 67th and Clarendon Hills Road, among other items. So many thanks to the council. Mary.
Not to be redundant, but I want to echo Joe's comments. I'm very proud of the process. I think we as a council had some great discussions, but did it in a very efficient manner. I want to thank the mayor and City Administrator Vanna, our department heads, the amazing support staff, Lisa Clem and Julie, all the people, Treasurer Corin. I think we should be very proud of this budget. We, are looking at some great programs moving forward, very many popular ones, some new opportunities with the traffic light and the sidewalks, but also being able to really continue our rear yard drainage programs and, continuing to do all of this without having to lean on our taxpayers for any more money. And I think we should be, holding our heads, I should say, very high. And, we continue to operate the city as elected officials and with the support of an amazing staff in a very efficient and effective manner. So just wanted to thank everybody. One great team, we made this happen.
Anything else?
One item, Mayor. In addition to the camera under the amendment for 83.5 and the 100,000 for Public Works, considering LRS now is going to pick up the recycling,
Right.
electronic recycling, I would deduct the 19,200 from the budget. So I'll make that third
Right.
revision.
And again, I want to restate that. LRS, because of the few minor things that have taken place, LRS is offering to pick up that 19,200 this year, which really speaks to the quality of the company that we're dealing with. So
We decided to pay for it initially ourselves. It worked out good this way. Never get back.
Nice little gift from them.
So we have a motion and a second. Alderman Klistak?
Motion also, the sidewalk's great. Currently at that bus stop there on 79th Street, you got kids getting on in the middle of the street. So this will address that problem. So I think this is great that sidewalks
It's a
were
good
finally
budget.
put in there.
And the roll.
Sullivan,
Aye.
Belzak,
Aye.
Clistic,
Aye.
Gustafson,
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
Shower,
Aye.
Vaughn,
Aye.
7 ayes.
Adam's been approved. Anything for the good of the council? Anybody have, Eric?
Yeah, and as I've mentioned at the last few meetings, that Centercast School District 66 has a potential tax increase. The next meeting is April 21st at Lakeview School. Just to remind people, you can now go out on DuPage County's website and get a mail-in ballot. You are now able to go out there and do that. I did that for myself, so those are available to you. So I encourage everybody to vote.
Anyone
And the
else?
do you want to remind people of the date of the election? I know it's
June 28th.
Yeah, it's the end of June, which I think might be
Thank
a
you.
bit confusing for people.
Thank you. Yeah, June 28th.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn? Alderman Shower, seconded by Alderman Kennedy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everyone.